I consistently just see crazy fight videos from 6th Street, and it feels like, you know, I hope that's something we never lose, because that's just, having been there and seen how insane it is to actually start a fist fight there.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild to just like still see it taking place.
You gotta have some chops in Texas if you gonna be out there. You gonna have to know how to fight and fight well.
Yeah, you have to be able to fight and then avoid detection by the cops on horseback that are like surrounding everyone.
Looking to, well, okay, if you win, they still looking to whoop your ass for fighting. You know, it's
like, I can't compare that. Like, I still think that's like the wildest bar dynamic that I've ever encountered in America, because you have all these different bars that have their own crowd. You know, you got a bar that's like 95% black people. You got a bar that's like skaters, BMX riders, hipsters. You got a fucking Mexican bar, and then 2 o'clock rolls around and they are just outside drunk as
and it's
ready to antagonize each other. I can't put any particular blame on any one group, but they just go to war. And I've seen it so many times where I just see like a bunch of frat boys fighting a bunch of random black guys and just being like, bro, this ain't supposed to happen like this. Like, this is just... And
you a bouncer, you supposed to control that, but you know what you're doing? You just, it's not happening in your bar.
Yeah.
So it's not your business.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing, that you would see a line of bouncers like, damn.
Yeah.
But they not trying to get in my bar, so it has nothing to do with me.
And like, normally somebody getting in a fight like in front of your bar is still kind of your problem.
Yeah.
But the whole street's blocked off, and there's bars on the other side of the street. There's a bar next door, so it's kind of plausible deniability. Like, everybody, hey, that ain't our problem.
Yeah, that fight started by that food truck, and then it came over here, and then it went over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And then they went and got a tattoo together.
Yeah.
Same place.
I remember, not to like just be bringing up old war stories or anything, but like, I had one night where at the bar, we used to go to this bar called Shakespeare's in Austin. Like, every single night we go out, some cute Asian girl I'm talking to, and then I just hear her exclaim like, what the fuck? And I look down, and a dude that I knew was blackout drunk, pissing on her feet outside the bar. And it's kind of like packed enough that it's not easy for her to just move away from this. And this dude is so drunk that he's just emptying his dick out onto her high heels.
Yeah.
And I fucked with dude enough that I couldn't just like, you know, do my white knight thing and just like stand up to him. I kind of had to be like, listen, like, I'm trying to holler at you, but I can't get in the way of what he has going on right now.
Yeah, this is Austin.
Yeah, this ain't my business. I'm not from here.
This is Austin. Austin is insane.
Definitely. So, okay, for the people who aren't really familiar, can we get some backstory on you? Because you're from you have a crazy background. You put in a lot of work out here. Not out here, but down there.
A lot of places. But I'm a comedian. Started in 1997 at a spot called Just Joking Comedy Cafe. By 2000, I was on Comic View. Like, how far you want me to go back?
Wait, but okay, before that, 97, you were how old?
I was 25.
28 years. Okay. So, but before that, you were just in the streets in
so that's
Houston.
where you want to go
to
the streets thing.
A little bit, yeah.
I thought we was talking about comedy.
Well, yeah, we could do that too. But
yeah, we so I'm 14 in the streets when I started being in the streets at 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you, if I were to have asked you at that time, did you see a future for yourself past that, or was that just everything you knew?
No, I think that's some bullshit that everybody say. It's nothing. There's no way that's all that I knew. I went to school. My mom's a educated person. My father, educated person. I was just outside.
Right.
And I've been outside since '88.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I didn't jump in the streets right away. I was in school.
Right.
So no, that's not all I knew. I didn't grow up in poverty or no shit like that.
Okay. No, I mean, I interviewed a dude the other day who told me that when he was, I don't know, like 14 or some shit, he went to his dad and said like, yo, we need money for the family. His dad was like in the streets or whatever. And his dad basically was like, well, here you go. And he gave him a bunch of crack to sell. And basically was like, you go make some money for the family using this.
What year was this?
Probably, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It wasn't like a much older dude, but
So I'm saying he's in 2000s or something like that.
yeah.
So I'm my first time. My pops on the carrier service, right? And
Oh, and I just remember this is R&B Faux Mob, up and coming rapper out of Dallas, I believe. No, Houston. He's from Houston, actually. Yeah.
okay,
San Antonio. God damn it. Terrible memory. My bad.
I'm like, I didn't.
He's like 19, so you not knowing about him, not that surprising.
He's 19. Okay. Everybody's story is different, but I don't come from that. My pops owned the carrier service, and this is 19. He started in 80, so 1983 I moved in with my dad. I'm 10, and my dad used to sell these pills, and he also would supply powder cocaine to attorneys. So it was no crack at this time.
What kind of pills are we talking?
Speed and uppers, downers, all that type of 70s type stuff that he had. And that's what they were taking back. It wasn't what is it now? What pills?
Perks.
Perks and all that. It wasn't.
Perks are big now, yeah.
Okay. So my pop didn't say we need some money for the family. He's making money, but everybody's story is different. I'm outside at 14.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to actually sell drugs. My mom had a job. My dad had a career. I'm just succumbing to the pressures of being outside, trying to hang with I'm considering the cool kids, which I could have just hung with everybody who was playing sports and playing basketball. And I played chess. I hooped, but I wanted some extra stuff that my mom wasn't going to facilitate. You know, she wasn't putting value on clothes. You know, it's just like, you can buy clothes, but I'm not buying you stuff just to be fashionable. You have to have a purpose for this. So I get out there and I'm doing my own thing. I started with a 50 pack. So I don't know how these guys start with all the rest of these big quantities of drugs and however they did it.
Yeah, that's the wrong way to do it. You got to learn the hustle from the ground up, right?
Yeah, if my mom would have found out, or my dad would have found out I was selling crack, they would have lost it.
Really?
Yeah, they would have lost it. I didn't come from, I guess this is a typical black story or some shit, that I didn't come from some crime family who never told me nothing good and all that. I don't even succumb to that type of story. So I always ask for these guys who are in the 2000s, right? What wasn't said already before 2002, 2000? So I'm gone in 91. I get popped 4 days as I turn 19. You know what I'm saying? So now I don't get out until 1997. I'm quite sure it was a whole bunch of, this is before New Jack City.
So you did 6 years just off selling hand to hand?
No. I told you when I started.
Okay. Oh, so you had 6 years that you were doing your thing.
From 14 to 19. That's
Got it.
5 years.
Okay.
I was already up.
Right.
So it took me a while to get up to kilos of dope. Right. You know, it took a long time. It may not seem like 5 years is a long time, but it is a pretty decent stretch. Then I'm gone, you know, from 91 to 97. I get out October 21st, 97. And I'm trying to figure out from New Jack City to Say No to Drugs movement, all this. Somebody's still selling crack in 2000 something in Texas.
Because you at least have the plausibility of, I didn't know how bad this was. I didn't know how much trouble I could get in, et cetera. Whereas like for somebody like me born in 83, I mean, this was like pumped into our heads from a very young age.
I'm 10 in 83.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So crack jumps on in 85. I'm starting in 88.
Right.
So I be trying to figure out the timeline, because even when I got out, crack was not, in 97, crack wasn't a real hustle no more. doing all type of flipping houses and other stuff. It's like you was cliche, and by the time 98 hit, you cliche. You selling drugs. Like then they done moved on to acid and all these other things that carry less time. So in 2005, 2010, you still selling crack? Damn.
Yeah. You gotta get a little more creative.
And that's what your people gave you to make money?
Right.
Damn, that's deep.
Yeah. But does it sit on, okay, we haven't seen this with like crack or coke or whatever, but so many of the drugs that I was doing throughout my young life have now basically been introduced in like a therapeutical sense. Like you can get ketamine prescribed by a doctor. You can get, a lot of different stuff, like the mushroom thing is not like we do brand deals for mushroom brands on here, which I don't actually understand the legality of that, but there's just so many, even like this is my favorite thing is that I'll be at a party and I'll see a dude I know with like a little tiny bottle on a necklace. And then at some point I'll realize that it's like water mixed with Coke and that he's just doing little snorts of the shit throughout the night. And I'm like, wow, that's a fucking great idea right there. Like that would have saved me a lot of pain in the ass, a lot of trouble of having to rack up lines in the bathroom.
Okay, so you just saw the clip, but did you know that you can watch this entire interview right now before it's released to the public, uncensored, by becoming a member for just $5 a month? And there's a lot of other crazy benefits as well. So make sure you hit the link down in the description and sign up. Appreciate y'all.